everyone, it's Joy. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of Spellbinders November Club Kits blog hop, and I am using the large die of the month for November, the Merry Stitching die. Everything that I've used for this project is listed and linked below in the description and also on my blog. Now I've started by die cutting the snowflake from the large die of the month, and I die cut that from some white cardstock. And I'm going to come in and start with my first color of stitching, and this is a kind of a pearlescent white, and I'm going to alternate on the arms of this snowflake with a pearlescent white and a regular white, and then I will come in with some silver. I am just going through that first hole and taping down that back part onto this snowflake. And I'm just going to start with my first arm, and I'm going to go up the center. You could start on either side. I just kind of went up from the bottom to the center, and then I'm going to work my way down the right and then down the left. But I guess it really doesn't matter which way you go. But this was my first time doing one of these stitchings, and my string just kept getting caught on the little arms of these snowflakes. Now, when I was a teenager, probably about 17 years old, I used to love to do cross stitching, so it kind of reminds me of that, but way simpler. And so I'm not sure why I felt so intimidated by this project, but I really love how it turned out, and I really think that I am going to be addicted to this. So I just keep going through that bottom hole, and then I'm going to go up through a different top hole, and I'm going to alternate the pearlescent white every other arm of the snowflake, and then I will come in and fill in the open every other arm with white thread. So I'm just going to go through. The mistake I made here is I did not make my thread long enough. This was my first time doing it, and I learned real quick when I was done here. I thought, well, that's kind of silly. I should have made my thread way longer. So that's a tip. If you've never done this, make your thread really long. So here I made this a little bit longer. I still didn't make it quite long enough, but I'm coming in with my next color with just my white thread right next to that pearlescent thread. And again, I'm going through that bottom circle and then bottom hole, and then I'm coming up to the top holes and just alternating, going back and forth, filling in each one of those little lines. When I say lines, on this die cut, there is little embossed lines to show you which direction your thread goes, which is really super helpful for me just because I've never done anything like this before. So it's looking good. It's turning out great. I like the slight difference in the color of thread. I'm skipping one over and then going and filling up that next circle. Now I'm getting the hang of it, and I'm going much faster. This really is a super simple project. This is a great project to die cut all of these and just like sit on the couch watching TV or whatever and just making tons of these images. And I love a snowflake, so this is my favorite. So I'm going to finish that off, and then I'm going to come in with some silver, and I'm going to start in the very center hole of that snowflake, and I'm going to work. It kind of comes up to a point and it goes around in the circle, and I will show you in just a second what that's going to look like. And I think the silver really added a lot. It's kind of a silver sparkly thread, and it really turned out super pretty. So I'm just going through all of those, the little holes, and as you can see there, one in the center and then one on the side of each of the arms of the snowflake. So I'm just going to do that all the way around. One thing that I did kind of mess up on is that center snowflake had more lines than I actually did. And that kind of laughed when I was done. I was like, oh my gosh, I only did about half of these lines. It still turned out super cute. But as you can see here, that center with all the silver, and it goes up between the arms of the snowflakes. I did decide to go back in, and I'll show you in a second, to the center piece of each snowflake arm. I'm going to add one silver strip to, because I thought it would be super pretty to bring that silver out farther than just in the center. So I'm just going to add that, and as you can see there, it's just in that center of that arm, and I'm going to work my way all the way around the whole snowflake, just going up that center line of each snowflake with that silver thread. It really turned out super pretty. As you can see there, you can see the silver right in the center, and it turned out gorgeous. I'm going to do 3 more of these snowflakes just like this. Now that all of those are done, I'm taking that silver thread, threading it through one of the top parts of the snowflake, because I decided to turn these into snowflake ornaments. Once I had them on this slimline card, I just thought this needs to be an ornament and hanging from the top of this card down. This is a perfect project for a slimline card. You have all of that real estate to work with. It turned out fabulous. So I have my red cardstock. It is Scarlet cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. It is a pretty deep red. It is gorgeous, and I think it's so pretty with these bright white snowflakes. So I'm going to attach these down. I'm just going to pull the thread behind my card panel and just use some tape to tape that down. And I'm going to do these at different lengths. So this one in the front is going to be longer, and actually the thread is going to go over the top of the other snowflake. I just thought that that looked pretty. And then I'm going to bring the third snowflake in right there at the top, and it's going to have a short little string that's hanging it. I'm going to tape that down and just hold that in place and add a little bit of liquid glue behind each of those snowflakes just to hold it in place. And we've got our background. Now I've come in with some honeybee stamps, Arctic snow sequins. I also have some snowflake sequins that I've had for a long time from them, and I couldn't find it, so I don't have that listed, but you could use all the snowflakes from the Arctic snow sequence. And I'm just adhering that down with a little bit of liquid glue. I decided to change one of them out towards the bottom here, and I'll do that in just a second. Here is my sentiment from Tailored Expressions. This is the Simple Strips Christmas. And I wanted a big, long sentiment, and it is going to hang over the whole card, even when we have it on the slimline card base, but I don't mind at all because I don't think you want to put this in an envelope and mail it, so you could hand deliver this type of card. I'm using some foam tape behind it, and the sentiment says, "Walking in a Winter Wonderland." So I'm just going to add that sentiment to it. A foiled sentiment would also be beautiful on this card, but I opted to go with this, and I just love how it turned out. So I'm going to change out that little snowflake at the bottom for this other really cute snowflake. Anyways, now I'm going to attach this to my white slimline card base. A slimline card is 8.5 by 3.5, and my red panel is just trimmed down slightly smaller than that. Now that that's all done, look at how beautiful this card turned out. I love those snowflakes. They turned out beautiful. You could also use some blue thread on these snowflakes, and that would be stunning, or a blue cardstock and white thread. That would be gorgeous too. The color combinations are endless. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, thumbs up, comment, share. I do have some affiliate links below. It costs you guys nothing to use, but it does continue to help me. So thank you, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.